from the break now. Welcome back, everyone. How are y'all doing? Is everyone ready for the next presentation? Everyone ready? Can I see some heads? Can you see some thumbs up? Very good. All right. It's my pleasure to introduce you all to Auntie Janani Pati. Janani Auntie was an SSE student and an active member of the youth group at Scarborough Sci Center. She's grateful to have been raised in a Sai family and for the opportunities to receive Swami's darshan in Puttaparthi. Janani Auntie has been working in public education for the past 25 years. She began her career as a math and science teacher, and now she serves as a principal of a secondary school. She strives to keep Swami's teachings at the forefront of her work with students, teachers, and families. In particular, character education is a focus for Janani Auntie's daily work. Janani Auntie is looking forward to connecting with all those present at today's special event. Today, she'll be giving a talk about using our Sai compass to guide us through our journey in life. Please give a warm welcome to Janani Auntie.
Om Sri Sai Ram. It is such a pleasure to be with all of my dear Sai brothers, sisters, and our entire Sai family this afternoon. Happy Saturday to everyone who is gathered here today. It was so lovely to hear about how Swami's teachings and the environment impact our choices every day, and so uplifting to watch the different videos that were played just before today's session. Thank you to the organizers for the tremendous amount of time that has taken place behind the scenes to organize such a special event to bring together our entire Sai family. I'm just so going to take a moment to share my screen. So as mentioned by Sister Anika, the title of my presentation is Using Our Sai Compass to Guide Us Through Our Journey in Life. And please excuse this interesting voice I have today because I'm trying to fight off, a little bug. So I'd love to know who's in our Zoom room today. And I'm wondering if you could use the chat box just to share sort of what town you are from. So I'm coming to you from my home in Richmond Hill in Ontario. So Toronto to Winnipeg to Edmonton, Brampton, Scarborough, Montreal, Ottawa, Saskatoon. Oh, this is so lovely. Australia, USA, Missouri, Windsor. This is wonderful. It is so lovely to see that Swami's love expands all across borders. And so it is really a pleasure to be with all of you today. Before I begin, I'd like to offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. So when I think about navigating our journey in life, and I think about, what would I use as my roadmap? And what have I learned since my days in SSE? I would certainly say that the human values that Swami has taught us of living with truth, right conduct, peace, love, and nonviolence are certainly ones that will really guide us through every scenario, through every turn in life. As well, what we have learned from the 9-point code of conduct is really that road kit, a spiritual road kit that we carry with us. Most of us in our vehicles likely have something to help us through those unexpected adventures, those emergencies in life. And so I feel like when we carry the spiritual road kit with us all the time, this helps us to navigate the journey ahead of us. So to not take lightly what we have learned in SSE is so important because the human values combined with the 9-point code of conduct will really help to guide us through life's journey. I remember sitting in my SSE classes with silent sitting. And then I remember as a guru having to try this with my students. And I know at the beginning it is difficult to sort of close our eyes and have one point focusedness. But I find when I think about everything that life throws at us, this skill of sitting silently and focusing and really just being aware of one's breath and letting everything else dissipate to the side is so important. We have just lived through 2 years of a pandemic. And so when I think about currently how silent sitting has helped me, when I walk through and I enter my school every day, and I put on my mask and my shield, and I think about what will the day bring. And the day brings so much. And most of the time, it is people that are, frenzied and panicked about the child that has been referred down to the office because they have COVID symptoms, or a staff member that hasn't called in, and they're running late, or another staff member that might not be able to be there for a child with special needs. And how do we cope with all of these items that come at us each day? And I find when I start the day with some type of silent sitting, it really helps to give me a peaceful approach to the day. As well, the Gayatri Mantra has come and helped me so much in life from my days as an SSE student. When I went through university and beyond any sort of test, it always helped me to say the Gayatri Mantra before I took a test, or if I was riding the TTC, the public transport, to go to a job interview as a teenager. It just helped to sort of ease my nerves as I prepared for that interview or for that job. It's also helped me as an adult when I've had to have those difficult and courageous conversations. And I find when you say the Gayatri and you say it wholeheartedly, it really helps to mitigate in situations that sometimes you might feel nervous about, or you'd have butterflies in your stomach. The Swami always comes through to help us. And these are some tools that I found from SSE that have always helped me throughout life. I also find that the bhajans are just not about singing Swami's glory, but it is another tool to always have his name on our tongue. And so when we go to bhajans all the time, we have a wide array of bhajans that we can sing silently or out loud, listening to it on our iPods or wherever we are, to be able to always sing the glory of the Lord. For me in particular, English bhajans have had, significance because I feel like the meaning is so transparent. And this one in particular speaks to me about how Sri Satya Sai Baba is always here for us. And I invite you to sing along with me. So when we sing, at thy lotus feet, my Lord, what bliss it is. At thy lotus feet, my Lord, how sweet it is. All the pain that's in my heart, all the sorrow in my soul, vanish and turn into a rainbow at thy lotus feet. Vanish and turn into a rainbow at thy lotus feet. So I urge all my Sai sisters and Sai brothers, when times get tough, and life is never smooth and easy, especially for those of us that are in the Sai fold, hold on to his lotus feet and remember that he's always there to guide us. I also feel I'm so grateful for the opportunities that the Sai Center has given me. When I think about sitting as a young child in a classroom, I would have never thought I would have sought the path of a teacher, because I could see the way in which students would taunt their teachers, let alone their supply teachers. And never in a million years would I've guessed that I would end up running a school as a secondary school principal. But I truly feel all the opportunities in the Sai Center helped me to get there. First of all, the speech competitions. I think the speech competitions really helped so that I would have the confidence to stand in front of many people to deliver a speech, but it was also the art of writing those speeches, of memorizing those speeches, and to be able to actually present in front of a large audience that then allowed me later at school assemblies to do the same thing. Essay writing, the thought of taking a topic and chunking it down to write it so that it flowed in a way that was meaningful, not just to myself, but to those that were reading it, was also a great skill that has helped me as I write, different newsletters and things like that for our families at schools. And I'm again grateful to the organization for giving me those opportunities. And all the fun that we've all had in terms of all of the dramatic performances for special events, whether it is at the center or in Puttaparthi, have all helped to both unify all of us, but also help to make Swami's teaching so much more meaningful as we act them out, as we write out the scripts, and as we find ways to convey those special messages to larger audiences. Along the way, when we are active in our Sai centers and we get involved in Seva, really Swami's message, love all and serve all, is so important. When we get involved, when we are young in SSE, it just helps us to remember that everyone is deserving of God's love, and that divine love exists within all of us. And so whenever we can help, instead of questioning who we are helping, the most important thing is to lend that helping hand. And so I know when Swami says the best way to love God is to love and serve all, again, through the Sai Center, I was able to support in terms of distributing meals at soup kitchens in downtown Toronto. Because of the organization, we were able to go out as a youth group and sing carols to seniors during the Christmas time. And as well, because of the activities of the Sai Center, we were able to, as children and youth, plant trees for Earth Day. And each one of these Seva activities has stuck with me because I could remember the experience of giving to others, to see the joy of seniors when no one else visits them at Christmas time, really, really resonated with me. To have a chat with someone at a soup kitchen, knowing that you might have been their only friendly face that day, to have that conversation struck with me. And I feel like when we do all of these as SSE students and as gurus, it sticks with folks for larger parts of their life. As a teacher, I have found that each act of love and each act of service has a ripple effect. And these are examples of ways in which I've been able to take my students to plant trees for Earth Day. And we have also continued with the activities of providing meals and as well providing cheer to senior citizens. So it is not just about what we learn in our SSE classes, but how we can take that and spread that tenfold to help as many people. When we look at how many people are here on the call today, and if there are 123 people that are taking this beyond the Sai centers to their communities, schools, and workplaces, imagine what an impact each one of us can have. And ultimately, going to SSE has really taught me the importance of having full, unwavering faith in Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. There are many challenges that each of us in our families and communities have faced. Life is not smooth. And you can see on the left the different types of questions and challenges that might come in forms of your career, your health, your family, in terms of security, in terms of the economy. And that can sometimes impact our health, the way we sleep, and the way in which we address problems. But if we hold on and we remember that Swami is our, all-encompassing mother and father, he walks beside us. He is someone we can always look to. That is the most important lesson and takeaway from my SSE classes. And so I just wanted to sort of share some of Swami's teachings that have also left an impact on me. When I think about everything that the Sai Center has to offer, there's a difference between attending for that day versus actually internalizing it. And I sort of separate that in terms of performance versus devotion. Swami has said a devotion is not a uniform to be worn on certain days and then to be put aside. And so I ask everyone gathered here, do we act one way when we are in the Sai Center, and do we act a different way when we are not in the company of Sai brothers and sisters? Because we have to walk the walk, we have to walk the talk. We are ambassadors of Swami, we are his legacy. And so it is so important that we live with the devotion that we have for him, rather than just performing on the Sundays or the days when we have conferences or seva activities. And so when I think about examples, if you're sitting with someone and you're experiencing road rage from the person next to you, how do we as a Sai devotee advise the person? Do we say, you know what, that person, they must be having a bad day today. Let's just let them go in front of us. Or do we act in rage in response? Do we say, you know what, we're already running late. You know what, this person just has to slow down. How do we, in our actions in day-to-day life, choose to live like we are a Sai devotee devoted to Swami? In each act that we choose to take, as we use that compass to guide us through life, are we taking steps forward or are we taking steps backward with each thought, with each word, with each deed? And as Swami says, love lives by giving and forgiving. Ego lives by getting and forgetting. And so we need to make sure that we can forgive in those moments when others make mistakes, because we need that from them when we make those mistakes as well. And again, when we talk about performance versus devotion, it is what is in our words, how we choose to act, what we choose to think. So even though you might be trying to be really spiritual, but you have these thoughts of judgment about others around us, that is a question of how devoted we are. What is our true character like? We always define character as how does one act when no one is watching? Is it the same way in which you act when you are in Puttaparthi or in the Sai Center? And certainly, what is in our hearts? Is it that pure divine love? This particular year as a school principal has certainly had its share of challenges. Parents and students have been faced with either, at one point it was online learning, at another time it was like, welcome back, let's do it face to face, and at other points it was hybrid. And no one at any given time knew what was happening. I would have parents calling me all the time, and I would say, you know what, I'm getting the news in real time by watching the television. I don't have any more information. And naturally, it could be quite frustrating for everyone around to deal with such constant change. And so the question is, how do we, with all of the teachings from SSE, really, really try to make sure that even in these times, we are able to respond with love. We are able to remember that the person that is so frustrated has that divine light in them as well. And so, responding through our heart, through our character, I found like the only way when people are so upset is to just let them go and to listen, right? To listen to them, to be attentive, to ask questions, to connect with their feelings, right? And to use all of these other tools that we are taught at school and in work in order to let that divinity come through and to help them. Because Swami says that if we do respond in anger and we do respond in frustration, then we are a slave to our senses. Because he reminds us that joy of being the master of the senses is far greater than being the slave of our senses. And so when I think about performance versus devotion, and I think about how we use our compass, our Sai compass to guide us through life, I think about this quote, which is, living with God is true education. Living for God is true devotion. And living in God is true spirituality. So when we think about going from education to devotion to spirituality, how is it that we can help each other live in God? And so when I think about the work that I do and the work that we do together in our centers for SSE spiritual education, Swami remembers that education should be for life, not for living. And so when we think about what is life about, and what's the difference between living, getting through the day-to-day versus our true life, our spiritual life, the idea that we try to reduce our karma and to reduce the cycle of birth and death. It really, when I, as a secondary school principal, lots of issues related to student choices get referred to me. So when the student that is sent to the office has, prohibited substances on them, I wonder to myself, what is it about this particular student that allows them or makes them want to be a slave to their senses? When students are referred to me for fighting, I wonder, how can someone inflict so much pain on someone else? How are they not able to see the divine within the other person? When students are referred to me for cyberbullying, I wonder, how could you sit aside and watch all these harmful comments be made? How could you contribute to such harmful comments? How could this type of lack of connection with the other person be there? Or when students are referred to for theft, where they take, someone's shoes from the change room or steal someone's cell phone, I wonder about, again, what type of connection to materialism is there? But and sometimes I'll sit there and I'll be like, you know what, if they went to SSE, I'm sure this would have a different outcome. But I want to share with you, my dear brothers and sisters, that every time I meet with families of students that are referred to me, often a family will say, but my child is a leader at their local faith institution. You can insert church, synagogue, mosque, gurdwara, and yes, even within our own SSE centers. And so where is that disconnect where a child can go with their family for prayers at their local place of worship, and yet when they return to school, they are able to engage in acts that either harm themselves or harm others? Why is there such a disconnect? And so this is why it is so important that when we come to our organization and we come to SSE, it's so important to really believe that Swami is God and Swami is there for us, and to really understand our true purpose in life. Because otherwise, the world that we live in will continue to have much turmoil and much unrest. It is incumbent on each one of us to really help one another to continue on this divine path and to really help each other realize the divinity within each one of us. So for the students that engage in gossip or engage in online behavior, what I wish to be able to say to them is to think about, see no evil, right? Hear no evil, talk no evil, think no evil, do no evil. See what is good, hear what is good, talk what is good, think what is good, do what is good. This is the way to God. This is what I wish that students would really internalize. How can I, through my actions, see what is good? How can I, through my actions, do what is good? Because this is the way to God. How do I take steps that will take me forward rather than backwards? And so when I have students that are referred because there's been a verbal insult thrown or physical fights, I always try to incorporate Swami's teachings in terms of the reflection. To me, it is not about punishment, but about growth, to help someone make a decision back better in the future. And so I love Swami's quote, which is, when you do not accept the insult that someone casts on you, it goes back to the person who indulged in it first. A registered letter that is not accepted returns to the sender. So what I do try to say to my students, it is not weak not to respond when someone is mean to you. In fact, there is greater strength not to say anything because then you are in control of your thoughts, your words, your actions. So be the bigger person. Take the road that is a higher road by not responding. The world in front of us right now, especially out of a pandemic, we see so many issues of mental health. And in my job with children and youth, lots of challenges in terms of students grappling anxiety and depression. And so Swami says, give each problem the attention it deserves, but don't allow it to overpower you. Anxiety will not solve any difficulties. Coolness comes from detachment. Above all, believe in God and the efficacy of prayer. The Lord has said that he who does good, thinks good, and speaks good will not come to any harm. That is the way to get equanimity and shanti. So what we have learned in all of our classes, all of the beautiful prayers and bhajans that we have sung, these are the ways in which we can reduce our anxiety. These are the ways in which we can detach ourselves from the problems. Swami's not saying not to address the problem. He's just saying don't get fixated on it. Don't let it consume all of that headspace. Just move on once you have addressed it and don't let it take over. Know that whenever you don't have solutions to life's problems, when you're at a crossroads and you're not sure which way to go in your journey in life, you just have to look to him and he will guide you. In 2017, I was given the incredible opportunity of opening a new school in York region. And this is what the plans looked like. It looked like a gorgeous school, a school that had not been built like this. And I was so excited to be able to start a new culture, to hire a new staff. And I was just really incredibly happy. And then as the summer came along, I was a little bit nervous because I hadn't heard much about entry into the building. And so when myself and my vice principal went to the school, this is what it looked like. It was not even close to being ready. There was so much construction that had to be done. And this was a photo that was taken in July of 2017. And so all of those expectations of opening a new school, creating a community and a spirit that would be super positive, I had visions of grounding it in Swami's teachings, were all really challenged at that time. Because instead, what happened is we were a host school to 9 other schools. There were students waiting to come to us from 3 English track schools. Another 4 French immersion elementary schools were holding kids for us. There were 2 other secondary schools, and everyone was waiting to come, and yet we did not have a school ready for them. And instead, we got this, a portable. We were set to we had to open a school within a school where all of us were working out of portables. And this is what the main office of the school looked like in September. At that point, I learned a lot of lessons about detachment, that a school and spirit and education were not confined to beautiful drawings of buildings, but in fact were in the work that we did, in the human connections that we formed with one another, with staff and students, in helping them to believe that they were one part of one big family that really cared for them, to know that when they came to our school, even if it was a series of portables in a school, we were able to create a strong community and have kids believe. It was all about the human connection that helped us to make it work when we moved to the situation in September. But Swami really takes care of us. And he reminded me, constantly, why fear when I am here? I knew I did not need to worry if Swami was taking care of us, if I was truly going to say that he was my guide on the side. And as in Swami's true fashion, on November 23rd of that year, we were able to move into our brand new building. And I know that it wasn't a coincidence. I know it was his way of saying he was waiting for an auspicious time for which we could enter the new building. And it was so, so lovely once we got into the new building. You can see the big smiles of all the staff as they line the hallways to greet students. And you could see the way in which students were really, really greeted by all of the staff as they came through. The amount of enthusiasm and hype and energy was just tremendous because everyone was ready to bring students into our building. What this meant to me as well was based on what we had, the staff really needed so much upliftment. And another miracle that happened is in 2019 for the Tamil Hindu community, Thai Pongal is such an important event. And miraculously, we got a notice that the Prime Minister wanted to have an event at the school. And so you can see the excitement on the left of all of the students who had a chance to meet him. Never would I have dreamt in any one of my schools that the Prime Minister would choose to come. Again, I know it was all of Swami's work in terms of, making sure his presence was known in different ways. And so for a school community that had gone through a lot of challenges, you could see that it was just about that community. And the fact that Swami was showing his different ways, he was leaving his calling cards to say, we're with you, we're behind you, keep at the work. And so when I think about the way in which we walk through life, I'm just always reminded that if we live a life of truth, if we choose to always live dharmically, using right conduct, if we choose to seek both inner and external peace, and we act with love, we act in a way that doesn't harm others in terms of our words or actions, our Sai compass will guide us through the right path. And when we choose to use that 9-point code of conduct, we remember that that 9-point code of conduct was not created for students in India. It was not created for another century. It was created for each one of Swami's devotees in Canada, in the US, in the UK, in Australia, to all of the people from all of the places that were placed in the chat box. Because these are the two pieces, our toolkit, our roadmap that helps us to guide us through life's journey. So if we truly have faith in Swami and we live by his teachings, we know that we will be okay. Because as Swami says, where there is love, where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is truth. And where there is truth, there is God. Because where there is God, my Sai brothers and sisters, there is bliss. Thank you so much for joining me today. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Auntie Jenny. Your presentation, your advice is truly relatable to all of us. I know when I was a student in high school and primary school too, these skills and tools, they were what helped me out, especially when I'd get a wave of anxiety or unsureness, which would happen a lot, especially with math tests. So I remember when I was like in high school, I would do like the Gayatri Mantra before a test because I would just be freaking out. What do you think, Kishore? What's something that, really stuck out to you?
Yeah, thank you, Auntie Jenny. It was really interesting, I think, to hear about the setting up of the school. That's something that I think a lot of us have never heard about. So that story is always really interesting, and it's always interesting to see how Swami's in the background assisting all of us. And it's truly a testament to your faith and your passion and dedication to your work. So thank you so much, Auntie, for sharing your story with us.
Yes, thank you, Auntie. All right, I'm going to pass the floor on to you, Kishore, to introduce our next presentation.
Sure, thank you. So these past couple of years have been really quickly though, before I do that, I want to remind everyone to please make sure to be on camera because we're going to be trying to take some pictures as well. So please make sure that your cameras are on. Um, I see there's quite a few people who don't have their cameras on. So please, if you could it's important for us to see our faces. I know in my SSE class, it's when we were teaching on Zoom, we're always more engaged when your camera's on. So please make sure your camera's on. So these past couple of years have been very different from the normal. We've had to host classes online, shift or cancel important festivals and celebrations that we are all accustomed to. However, no matter what challenges face us, our SSE kids from across the country were focused on Swami. Some of us returned to physical classes this year, while some of us have remained fully virtual. Irregardless of our situation, we are all focused on learning about the human values and connecting with Swami. This connection and passion is incredibly important to cherish, and is what we hope to showcase in a video format shortly. Please stay tuned and watch closely as we present a video presentation of the proud moments of all our SSE children from across the country.
Shri Sairam. My name is Myresh. Happy Mother's Day. Mata Pitta Guru Deva. My mom is first God for me. Mother is the one who teaches me to walk, eat, write, speak, and learn. My mom is the one who supports me all the time when needed. My mom is the best mom in the whole universe, who helped me direct good path. My mom loves me all the time and cares about me. Thank you. I am blessed. There is light within me. I am loved.
Greta, you are such an inspiration in this age. What inspired you to take action towards helping our Mother Earth?
I first learned about climate change when I was 8 years old, and I couldn't understand why so little was being done about it. From then on, I encouraged my family to reduce our own carbon footprint footprint. So we started upcycling, became vegan, and gave up flying. It wasn't easy, and they didn't agree with me at first, but their eventual cooperation gave me hope and inspired me to start the Fridays for Future school strike.
It's amazing that you're raising awareness about the climate crisis at such a young age. In life, there will certainly be people who will oppose you and try to bring you down. How are you able to deal with this adversity?
Well, it's certainly very difficult, especially when people in power try to demean me and disregard me. But remembering why I was doing all this and who I was doing it for really helped to strengthen my resolve.
This is beautiful. What message do you want to send to youth around the world?
I want youth to know that they have a voice and the ability to create change. It isn't always easy to do the right thing, and people will always hold you back. But if you never lose sight of your goal, and if you believe in the goodness of what you're doing, your words and actions can have lasting impact.
That is so inspiring and beautiful.
Thank you.
There is God within me. God within me. There is God. I am God.
We need to contemplate on our thoughts. Remember to think positively and to correct ourselves when thinking ill of others or the world around us. We must do our best to build a positive perspective and remember to think and feel positive emotions whenever possible. Think about the good, see the positive upsides to life, and remember to see the light we want to spread everywhere we go.
I share my love by speaking kind words and also appreciating others, the efforts that they make for me. Thank you, Syra.
There is love within me, love within me. There is love within me. I am loved. There is peace within me, peace within me. There is peace. I am peace. There is truth within me, truth within me. There is truth within me. I am truth.
Sairam, I'm Ashi. For most of us, when we think about watching our actions, we think about being aware of our bad or negative actions. The connection between bad actions and bad consequences is usually quite obvious. If you steal, you can go to jail. If you don't study for a test, you probably won't do well. What we often don't think about is the power of positive actions and the difference it can make in our lives. Positive actions can be more transformational and influential than negative ones. And our purpose should be to fill each and every day with as many positive actions as possible.
Bliss within me, bliss within me, there is bliss. I am blessed. There is light within me. I am
Hi, my name is Mira Sangrambo. Guru imparts knowledge and wisdom to students unconditionally and finds their role fulfilling and purposeful. Guru guides your students into the path of righteousness. I'm truly blessed to have Satya Sai as my Satguru, and I'm truly grateful to all my gurus. Jai Sai.
There is love.
to you. You have given me a lot of opportunities in life and I've taken advantages of them. I will always follow your teachings and always receive your blessings. I will never leave your side. Thank you.
All right, everyone, let's give the video a big round of applause. I know it's hard to hear everybody, but thank you to all the gurus, students, parents, and families who have put time and effort into making our programs a success throughout the pandemic. And then again, another round of applause. It was a really lovely video. I saw so many moments from our SSE. I'm sure everyone saw moments from their own SSEs, some of which I have forgotten too. Lots of memories now coming back. So it's really nice to see that. Next, I would like to welcome Brother Rishi Tanwala to speak. So Brother Rishi is fortunate to be born into a family that has been devoted to Bhagavan Baba for more than 55 years. He has undergraduate degrees in biology and music and is currently pursuing a MBA. Currently, he works as a supervisor of bioanalytical research in a leading pharmaceutical company. Brother Rishi completed his 12 years in SSE at the East Brunswick, New Jersey Sai Center, graduating in 2013, and also completed the Sri Sathya Sai International Leadership Program for Young Adults in 2016. Presently, Brother Rishi serves as the Center Vice President in Jersey City, New Jersey, and the SSIO Deputy International Young Adults Coordinator. His life's greatest passion is Sai bhajans. He has been singing, playing tabla, and composing bhajans since his childhood. Let's give it up for Brother Rishi.
Sairam, I offer myself at the divine lotus feet of my Guru, God, and best friend, Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Loving Sairams to all of you, my dear brothers and sisters and respected elders on the occasion of the Canadian SSE Festival. It's such an honor to be here today with all of you. The title of my talk is Always by My Side. And I wanted to go over a few instances in my life that Swami has shown that he is truly always by our side. Whenever I've had the opportunity to talk about Swami, I've always addressed him as my Guru, my God, and best friend. For he has fulfilled those three roles in my life in numerous ways, and I'm sure the same is true with all of you. So let me start out with a very funny incident. Usually when I drive, I have a 1 hour long commute to work, and I like to time my day by the length of Sai bhajans. So when I wake up and brush my teeth in the morning, it's about the length of one short bhajan. Showers are usually 2 bhajans long, and my drive to work is a blissful 16 bhajan session. And so when I drive alone, I like to keep a reminder with me that Swami is always there sitting with me in the car. So something little that I do, and I haven't shared this with a lot of people, but when I drive alone, on the passenger seat in the front, I place a cushion and 2 handkerchiefs on the passenger side chair to imagine and to feel that Swami is truly sitting with me in the car and he's enjoying the drive with me. And so one fine day, it was in April of 2009. It was shortly after the Aradhana Day celebrations. And I was on my way to work in the morning and I was listening to bhajans. And this one bhajan came on, Sai Baba, Sakal Bhuvan ke Data, O Sai Baba, Sakal Bhuvan ke Data. This bhajan holds a very bittersweet position in my life. When Swami had taken Mahasamadhi on April 24th, 2011, As I'm sure many of you did, we all gathered at our Sai centers to come together as a community to share our feelings and grieve. And on that day when Swami had left his form, that was the bhajan that I had sung. And this was, I remember it was April 26th, 2019. It was just after Aradhana Day observances here. And when that bhajan was being sung and I was listening to it, I felt quite emotional, and I started, thinking of Swami, and really started feeling pangs of separation from him. And suddenly, my tire goes flat, and I had no idea what to do. I was running late for meetings at work, and I come out of my car, and my entire hubcap has literally spun off the car, and it's like flung itself 100 feet away. My tire has literally ripped into pieces, and I don't know what to do. And so thankfully it happened right near a gas station. And so I go into the gas station and I ask, hey, like, can somebody help? I had a spare tire in the car, and I asked, can somebody help me change my tire? Lo and behold, this gas station was just maybe another 200 feet away from a tire shop. So somebody from the gas station helped me put my car in neutral, and we pushed it into the tire shop, where I was able to get a new tire. And of course, with a little delay of 30 to 45 minutes, I was on my way to work again. So I arrive at work, and one of the first things I do every morning when I get into my office is I open my computer, I have a small picture of Swami, I offer my pranams, and before I check my work emails for the day, I always open up the radio size Sai Inspires, which is the thought for the day, which is written every day in Prashanti Nilayam right outside Swami's residence. And so I get into the office and I open the thought for the day, and I was shocked to see what was written in the thought for the day that day. And I'd like to share this with all of you. So Swami wrote, and this is from his divine, this was the thought for the day published on April 26, 2019. Swami says, I feel hurt when anyone calls India poor or deficient. It may be that some people are unaware of the methods of becoming rich or may not care to adopt them, but most people know the means of getting inner peace. You should demonstrate through your lives that spiritual discipline makes one happier and more courageous to fight the battle of life. This is your great good fortune indeed. The world is suffering today from too much knowledge. Virtue has not increased in proportion to the advances of knowledge. That is the root cause of the misery in human society. The next portion of this message is what shook the inner recesses of my heart. Of the two tires of the vehicle that humanity is riding, the tire of divinity or Brahman is flat, and it must be filled by pumping the Lord's name into it. You cannot drive very far with a flat tire. Therefore, join holy association, cultivate good activities, and derive joy therefrom. Divine Discourse, April 30th, 1961. And so that showed to me that, while I was doing this mundane act of seating Swami in my car with his cushion and handkerchiefs, while I was performing this mundane act of just putting this cushion and handkerchief there, and at one point it almost became imagination to me, Swami really proved that it's not just that I'm imagining he's there. It's just not a cushion and handkerchief. He's actually there sitting with me. He's always literally always there by my side. What could have been, it could not have been but circumstantial that my tire broke, 200 feet away from a tire shop, and Swami had me, with a brand new tire on my way. And that the thought for the day that day, it was just so uncanny that the thought for the day, Swami addressed literally my situation. And it was so beautiful because Swami says that the tire of divinity must be filled by pumping the Lord's name into it. And as I humbly like to share, singing Swami's name, singing bhajans is my favorite hobby and is my life's greatest passion. So it was beautiful to see Swami addressing that. I'm sure many of you, if you have your friends come over to your house and they see pictures of Swami, I'm sure they will ask you, hey, who is that person in that picture with the big afro and the orange clothes? And sometimes I know as children, we are somewhat bewildered as to what to answer. Sometimes we may say, oh, he's my grandfather, or he's an uncle, or someone, I've heard people like to say that, oh, he's like Jesus Christ to us. And of course, we all face questions like these as Sai children in the Sai community. And so I wanted to share another incident that happened to me on my first day of high school. My birthday is August 31st, which is right before the school year starts. And so my grandmother that year for my birthday had gifted me a golden necklace with Swami's picture on it in the pendant. And so the school that was going to high school, I was starting high school, and the school that I went to required us to wear a particular dress code, like with suit, ties, and like big business formal. So that first day of school, I had worn my suit and tie, and I put on Swami's necklace, and I put the pendant right front and center on top of the knot of my tie. And I didn't really give it much thought. I was rushing to go to school. I'm not really a morning person. So I was rushing out. My mom was pushing me out of the house to get in the car so she could drop me off. And so I get in the car, and my mom sees the pendant on my tie. And she says, Rushi, you have this pendant, if people are going to ask you, what are you going to say? You should really put it inside your shirt and not show it outside. And I just ignored her. I might have even been rude to her that day. And she felt, of course, she came from a good place. She felt scared. She felt nervous about how I would respond to questions about Swami. And to be very honest with you, very humbly, I didn't have a response ready in my mind anyways. I just thought it was a gold necklace and it looked pretty cool and snazzy to wear. And I thought I would become the popular kid if I was wearing bling around the school. And so that was literally my only reasoning to wear this. And so I go into school, the necklace is, right there on top of my tie knot. And the second class of that day was art class. And in this class, we were, as an icebreaker activity, we were all handed a random old magazine. And the objective of the activity was to pick your favorite color and cut out images in that color and create like a personality collage, put together some pictures, paste them on a piece of construction paper, and make a little collage that describes your personality. So I get this magazine. It's a travel magazine. It's somebody, a woman in a swimsuit is on the top. And I open the magazine. And usually in magazines, you have the subscription card. And that subscription card of the magazine I got was sticking out. And naturally, I happened to turn to the page where that subscription card was sticking out. And I was shocked to see that there is a picture of an altar, someone's home altar, where they have a picture of Shirdi Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, and Swami's throne in the center. And I got curious and I started reading the article. It was about interior decorating on Diwali, of how Indian families decorate their house with different decorations and lights and things. And as an example, they had shown this picture of Swami. The article was not about Swami at all. It was about interior decorating. But in that moment, it struck me, wow, my mom's nervous that I'm wearing this necklace. I thought I'm wearing this necklace just because I think it looks cool because it's gold. But whatever we think we're doing mundanely, Swami recognizes that, and he shows his presence to us at all times, in all places. As SSE children, we may feel that, we're so young. There's all these young adults and adults who are there to take care of the center and all the activities of the organization. And sometimes we may not feel as motivated to support the activities of the organization and the center. But let me remind you, my dear brothers and sisters, of a few very important points. Swami himself was a child when he began his mission. When Swami got together a group of boys from his village, dressed them in yellow clothes, went around and started singing bhajans, because there was a cholera pandemic that had seized the village. Swami got together a group of boys, went around the village and started singing these bhajans, and he named it the Spandari Bhajan Group. And lo and behold, Swami was only 8 years old when he did this. When Swami, as you may all know, on October 20th, 1940, when Swami cast aside his books and said, This is all Maya, this is all illusion. I am no, and he declared to his family that I'm no longer related to you, that my devotees are waiting, my devotees are calling me. Swami was only 14 years old when he did this. And so nobody better than Swami himself to be a role model for all of us children, for all of his divine children, because he started his mission when he was 14 years old. Why are we being shy? Why are we being held back? Let us serve Swami to the best of our abilities, to the best of opportunities that we are granted. And I've had the opportunity to visit Canada a few times, and I've been to the Toronto York Sai Center, and I was recently there for the Aradhana Day celebrations. And it's so beautiful to see that in Canada, the SSE students are so deeply involved in all of the activities of the Sai Center, that they're in singing bhajans and cleaning the center, serving the devotees, and everything else. They're so deeply involved in all the Sai activities. And I urge all of you to continue doing this. And as you continue to grow and become young adults in the fold of Swami, even as young adults, speaking for myself, we may feel that, we have all these adults taking care of everything, what good are we here? Swami has one time when one of the seniors were complaining to Swami in Prashanti, saying, Swami, these youth, they're useless, Swami. They're not doing anything. They're so lazy. Swami pointed out that they are not useless. They are used less. And I'm sure the same applies to all the SSE children. There's so much talent, so much love and passion in the SSE children that festivals like this that we are having and the programs that the SSSIO of Canada organizes are such beautiful platforms for all of you children to come together and serve Swami together. And of course, it's about Swami. And we always say, Swami is my best friend. Swami is your best friend. And we keep saying these words. We always say Swami is by our side. We keep using these buzzwords all the time. But what do they truly mean to us? Through the SSE program, I have made some of my best friends, like lifelong friends. I've been friends with my SSE classmates from when I was even in pre-SSE. For example, I have a friend whose name is Siddharth Shivakumar. Him and I have composed so many bhajans together. He plays harmonium, I play tabla, we both sing. And together we've done so many wonderful musical service activities for Swami. Swami has given us so many opportunities to serve him through this avenue of music. But why did I meet him? It was because of this SSE program. When we would take group pilgrimages to Prashanti, and we would meet every week for 8-hour-long practices for our plays and go and perform in front of Swami. It was experiences like that. It was experiences like festivals like these. And hopefully soon we can all meet in person and have such gatherings, have such satsangs face to face, where we can all unite in Swami's glory. It was through events like this that I met people like Siddharth. And as much as Swami is omnipresent, and as much as he is our best friend, I feel like Swami sends people like these friends, like our SSE classmates, into our lives as forms of him, so that we can feel his presence through our friends. And so in SSE, not only do we gain spiritual knowledge and we take our first baby steps towards spiritual enlightenment, but we gain a lifelong group of family and friends, because we're all like-minded. You can call up any one of your SSE classmates, any one of your friends, and talk your heart out about Swami. Because if we are devoted to Swami, we are his children, there is nothing stronger that binds us together. And as you become young adults, even as a young adult, Swami has done so much for this organization. Swami built Prashanti Nilayam, this entire ashram, at the age of 25. It is just astounding to me how much Swami has done as a child, as a young adult, because it is at that time that we have the most energy and the most passion. When we want to offer flowers at Swami's lotus feet, or we want to create garlands, we want to offer flowers that are beautiful, fragrant, young, and vibrant. And so, as much as I don't want to sound cliche, at this age, when we are in SSE or we are young adults, we are those fresh, fragrant, beautiful flowers that are fit to be offered in the service of Swami at his Swami's lotus feet. And so it's so beautiful that we're all engaged in these types of satsangs. I'd like to end on one more experience that I had recently as a young adult. This was just around Valentine's Day this year. And in November of last year, with Swami's grace, I was promoted to a supervisor, and so at my job, and so I have to approve a lot of reports that go out to our Food and Drug Administration. I work in the pharmaceutical industry, and we do a lot of testing for drugs that pharma companies make. And so there was one of these drugs for multiple myeloma. It's a type of cancer, and we were working on this drug, and my team had generated a bunch of data, and our reporting department had finalized this report, and they sent it to me for review and approval. And so I received this email, but I kind of ignored it for a second because I was involved with so many other things. But this report needed to go out urgently. So somebody from the quality assurance department comes, knocks on my office door, comes in and says, "Hey, I sent you this report. Can you please take a look at it?" Yes, yes. I said, "Yes, I'll take a look." And then we start exchanging some banter, and he stops and asks, "Hey, you're only 26 years old. And what was your secret to becoming promoted to supervisor this fast?" And of course, in my head, I'm thinking it's all Swami's grace. I'm not the doer. I don't have, definitely don't have the abilities, knowledge, and skills to serve in this role. It's only because Swami and because of his grace, he put me here. But he kept asking me questions, how are you able to work with so much poise and maturity at a young age? And in my mind, I was thinking, should I mention Swami? Should I mention that I attended SSE, and I learned, lessons about leadership and effective communication from the young adults program that we have? And I thought to myself, should I was doubting myself. But my eyes fell on Swami's picture, which is behind me on my desk. And so I thought, okay, sure, let me tell him. So I told him, I'm part of this international Sri Satya Sai organization. I'm an active member, and we talk about the human values of truth, right conduct, peace, love, and nonviolence. We have classes for SSE, for children to learn about these human values. We have leadership programs for the young adults to learn about leadership qualities, and effective communication, project management, and things like that. And I said, I think it's because I participated in all of these activities as a child and as a young adult, because I learned these good qualities from these programs, was because I think it's because of that I was able to progress in my career. And he said, "Wow, that's really nice to hear." And he asked me a few more questions about who Swami was, and we exchanged a few pleasantries, and then the conversation ended. Then my attention moves to then as soon as he leaves my office, I'm like, man, did I really do the right thing? Should I have really talked about Swami? Because they also say you shouldn't be talking about religion in the workplace and all of those crazy guidelines. And I'm thinking this thought is passing through my head. And then I turned to my computer to open the report that he sent. And every report has a unique number. And the report number that was given to me to approve was report number 112326. 11 November 23, 23rd, 26, 1926. It was Swami showing that, talking about him to my friend, talking about him to my coworker was the right thing to do. And so, of course, we may come across different situations and different circumstances, but SSE gives us the tool to maybe not talk about Swami, but to be Swami's message. When you're interacting with your friends at school, to live Swami's message is to be kind to your friends, to be loving to your friends, and be understanding. And so, as Swami has sung beautifully, and I would like to end this session on this note, love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food, my life is my message, expansion is my life, no reason for love, no season for love, no birth, no death. Prema Satyananda, Shanti Dharmananda, Shirdi Sai Satya Sai, Prema Sai Jai Jai, Shirdi Baba Satya Baba, Prema Baba Jai Jai. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you so much, Brother Rishi, for your words. Your stories truly serve as an inspiration for all of our children. And I think one big takeaway for myself, again, from your talk is that it's a reminder for all of our children to always be proud of our faith in Swami. We are Swami's message, and we need to remember to always act as such. I would like to now ask Anika to welcome our final presenters for the day.
Thank you, Kishore. So last but not least, we have a collaborative presentation from our international young adults about the various YA activities that are available at the international level for all the YAs and Group 4s. As we welcome back Brother Rishi, I would also like to introduce everyone to Sister Vahini Pillai and Brother Sayan Anandaraja. Sister Vahini was born into a Sai family and is the 4th generation to be under the divine guidance of Sri Satya Sai Baba. Her family are ardent devotees since 1972 and have had many interviews and divine experiences with Swami. Vahini currently serves as the International Young Adults Coordinator for the Sri Satya Sai International Organization and oversees young adult activities in 110 countries across 10 zones and in 11 international YA subcommittees. Vahini has actively served in the SSSIO, in particular with the Sai Young Adults. She has previously served as a Zone 9 Young Adults Coordinator and as a Center, Regional, and National Young Adults Coordinator in the SSSIO South Africa. She has also served as a member of 3 international YA subcommittees. Vahini graduated from the Bal Vikas program, the Sri Satya Sai International Leadership Program for Young Adults, and the SSE Bal Vikas Teacher Training Course. She's a singer and songwriter who has composed many Valley-based songs that have been sung in the Sai Kulwant Hall. Vahini considers herself blessed to be able to know, serve, and love Bhagavan. Sri Satya Sai Baba is her eternal guru, guide, God, and best friend. Brother Sayan Anandaraja was introduced to Swami at the age of 3 by his father. Through Swami's grace, Brother Sayan has served in many roles at the Center as a youth coordinator, Regional as the Region 2 Ontario Young Adult Coordinator, National as the Assistant National Young Adult Coordinator, and international level as the Sadhana of Love Subcommittee Co-Lead. Having once served as an SSE Guru for Group 3 and 4, Brother Sayan continues to help facilitate the Satya Sai Sadhana of Love program with the international SSSIO community. Having graduated from Toronto Metropolitan University with a Bachelor's of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering, Brother Sayan works as an engineering sales account manager, serving the healthcare and institutional markets with his work in critical ventilation, hydronic, and heating systems. He has unwavering faith in our dearest Bhagavan, while continuing to serve as an instrument in Swami's omnipresent love. I now welcome Sister Vahini and Brothers Rishi and Sayan to the virtual podium.
Loving Saram, and thank you, Sister Anika, for that beautiful, warm welcome and introduction. Offering our loving and humble salutations at Swami's Divine Lotus feet, loving Saram, dearest all. And thank you for having us here today. As you've just heard, Brother Rishi's mentioned a lot about Sai Young Adults, International Sai Young Adults, and many people may be asking, who are the Sai Young Adults? What are Sai Young Adults? How do I become one? And where to from here after SSE? And so today, Brother Sayan, Brother Rishi, and myself are here together. And earlier you heard one of our other partners, Sister Shruti, who's also the Deputy International Young Adults Coordinator. And we're here to talk to you all about the Sri Satya Sai Young Adults Program. So the Young Adults Program comprises about 10 zones, and this is the national, regional, and center units. And within that, we have 11 subcommittees that work internationally in love and unity to serve in the divine mission and to share Swami's love and his message. And so we have this world map of all the various countries that form our zones and our various subcommittees. And so we thought, what better way than to start locally? And so I would love to, at this point, hand over to my enthusiastic, loving, amazing brother Sion, who is from Canada, hailing from Canada, to share with you locally what has been happening in Canada and how you can get involved. Saram Sion.
Saram, Sister Vahini, thank you so much. Can everyone hear me? Perfect.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Saram, everyone, and thank you all again. So as Sister Vahini did mention, I am currently serving as, with Swami's grace, currently serving as the National Young Adult Coordinator for Canada. Along with myself, there is Sister Gayatri Thakur, who is one of the Assistant National Young Adult Coordinators, and Brother Pradeep Mahalingam, who is our National YA Advisor. And that comprises our, let's say, YA national team. And just a quick little summary of what we're going through right now. And again, these are ongoing initiatives, something you can get in touch with your center YA coordinator, who will then put you in touch with the regional YA team and then across to us. So the first one is a First Nations awareness campaign. We're looking to do just a positive, shine a positive light on the Aboriginal and First Nations community in Canada. So be on the lookout. There is a few social media posts that we will be posting throughout August and September. And again, just to kind of shine a positive light on a community that has unfortunately suffered quite a few hardships in Canada. So that is coming up in August. In the last 2 weeks of August, currently we're zeroing in on the last week of August right now. We're going to be having a cross-regional satsang, a YA satsang. It's something, with things now slowly opening up, opened up for the most part, actually, across most of the country. We are looking to start that off with Ontario Region 1 and 2. So that is going to be the last week of August. What better way to bring the YAs together than in person? So we're looking forward to that. The National YA Repository is something that we're working on right now. We are looking to finalize that in the next couple of weeks. And that's just a repository of YAs across the country, number one, but also to highlight YAs that would be interested in taking that next step in terms of YA leadership, whether that's regionally, locally, nationally. That is something we're looking to put together. And again, something quite a few YAs actually have signed up so far. So the next point is change the discussion narrative. For quite some time, it's just been a little more, let's say, stuck in our past views. I'm just going to be open here. What we're looking to do as YAs is change the discussion and the narrative. So to find out ways how YAs can be a little more proactive in their centers, how they can help out, obviously, and progress towards a more open-minded mindset and open-minded communication between the YAs and the center leadership, regional leadership as well. So that is something we're going to be doing small little workshops here and there in September, starting in September. It's going to be a series of 2 workshops, September and October. So on the lookout for that. And then something that's really kind of come to the forefront. I know Jenny Auntie had mentioned that earlier in her presentation with students that face mental health hardships. Obviously, the pandemic has not been easy on all of us. So this is something more so that we're doing just an informal chat, what we call a fireside chat with YAs. And that is going to be done in conjunction with the SSIO Canada medical team. So again, we're just working on a few dates, so be on the lookout for that. Again, this is just a brief snapshot for all of you on kind of some of the initiatives that YAs across the country are working on. To the Group 4 students, it is an exciting time. Especially those that are progressing from Group 4 into, let's say, the YA realm. It is an exciting time. We don't want you to leave the Sai family. We want you to stick around, and there are so many ways that you all can help out. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. There are ways you can get involved. Feel free to reach out to the YA coordinators in your respective centers. And let's continue this amazing journey of Swami's love. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Sister Vahini, who will continue with the presentation. Over to you, Sister.
Thank you, Brother Cyan, and thank you for sharing those updates with us. So if you'd like to get involved in Canada, please do reach out to Brother Cyan and his team. That's the Centre and Regional Young Adults Coordinators as well. And so who are the young adults that we're speaking of? And Brother Cyan just mentioned Group 4 SSE. And so the Young Adults Program is ages 18 to 40. And so we're looking at individuals that are just starting their young adult life, so ages 18 to 40. And so what is the role of Sai youth in the world? And Sri Satya Sai Baba gave a discourse on July 17th, 1997 at the first World Youth Conference in Prashanthi Nilayam. And he said, Sai youth have to spread the message of unity, purity, and divinity. And I'm going to say this again, Sai youth have to spread the message of unity, purity, and divinity. And Swami then gave an analogy in this very same discourse. And he said, the number 1 represents divinity. And he said, you can put as many zeros next to it, and the value of that number will increase by adding these extra zeros. But if we had to remove the 1, the zeros have no value. And so he said, so too is God. And God is the hero, and the rest are all zeros. So everything in life represents a 0, but God is the hero in our life and represents that number 1. And so he said, Sai youth need to hold on to God as their best friend, as Brother Rishi mentioned, but as the hero of our lives. Swami also went on to say, have full faith in God and surrender to God. And that is to accept Swami's will and to accept the good and the bad, all as his plan. He said that Sai young adults should serve with a spirit of dedication and as an offering to God. And lastly, Swami said in this very same discourse to spread the message of the glory of God in every village by chanting the name of God. And we heard Brother Rishi mention Swami as a little boy would sing bhajans in the village and go around. And so it's all about Namasmarana, chanting the name of God. And then the atmosphere, the climate of the world will change for better and become sacred and become a better place to live in. And so these are the messages of Swami to the young adults and to the youth of the world. And so the International Sai Young Adults Program strives to assist young adults in this mission and in these teachings that Swami has given us to inspire and support young adults worldwide to manifest, experience, and realize their innate divinity through expressing this in selfless service to society. And so our mission is to deepen our connection with Swami, to unify and foster greater connectedness across all levels and increase this brotherhood across the young adults. To strengthen our YA leaders and to enhance and develop new initiatives to assist young adults in the self-transformation and making a positive impact in society and worldwide. And so to do this, we have created 11 international young adult subcommittees, and Brother Cyan has also been part of the subcommittees, as you've just heard. So we get great talent from Canada. And so as much as we want to also increase the local participation of young adults, we also need you internationally. And so Brother Rishi will now delve into the 11 subcommittees, the opportunities that we have for you.
Sairam, everyone. These 11 subcommittees are truly a all-you-can-eat buffet of activities in ways you can engage with brothers and sisters all over the world. As I've mentioned, just like SSE, through these subcommittees, it's not, of course, it's about doing the work and sharing Swami's love and message through these different avenues, but you get to work with so many cool people that you'll build these lifelong friendships through this service to Swami. And so just to quickly go through the different subcommittees we have, one of our most important ones is the Sri Sathya Sai International Leadership Program. And this is a 6-month-long online training that is conducted every year to train young adults in leadership skills. And this is to empower them not only to become leaders within the organization, but also gives them leadership skills for the professional lives as well. If you're passionate about serving our planet, and if you're passionate about various Go Green initiatives, we have the Serve the Planet Committee, who compiles social media awareness and have various initiatives to increase the awareness of being environmentally friendly. And they've produced, for example, numerous toolkits on how we can have environmentally friendly Sai Center events. If you're into numbers and data, we have the Information Management and Analytics team. This team helps us, and they work together with our media team to come up with analytics and analyze all the data that we get from social media to see, to figure out the best ways in which we can engage with young adults all over the world. Of course, one of my own personal favorites is the Ocean of Music. Recently, with the pandemic, we organized so many online musical offerings to Swami for Guru Purnima, his birthday, the Akhanda Bhajan, and so many wonderful activities that were organized through this by this subcommittee. That, and what we noticed was that it wasn't that we were putting out wonderful music, but musicians from different corners of the world, somebody in Canada becoming best friends with somebody in Australia just because of these online initiatives. Of course, Pathways, this is probably most relevant to our SSE4 students who are stepping into the YA program. This is the community that will help you transition from being an SSE student into becoming a young adult. Of course, we have the International Young Adults Veda program. If you're passionate about chanting Vedam, Swami has always, one of the missions of the Sai Avatar is to reestablish the importance of Vedas in today's world. And so if you're passionate about Veda chanting and would like to learn or would like to teach, we have that as well. Of course, the Sri Sathya Sai Sadhana of Love Committee that was Brother Sain is an integral member of. This subcommittee fosters discussions, in-depth discussions on Swami's teachings, which are heart to heart. And they also have this beautiful initiative called Reflections of Sai, in which young adults share about their personal experiences with Swami. And one of these experiences is published on the Sai Young Adult social media every single Thursday. We have the YA International Engagement Committee, which deals with public outreach and tries to seek out opportunities for YAs to participate in other international conferences and collaborate with other different organizations. The Insights Committee is our tech support for various online webinars. And as the previous speaker, Janani Auntie, spoke about well-being and mental health, we have the well-being support group that prepares materials and study circle guides which pertain to mental health and well-being. And of course, none of this would be possible without our media and editorial teams, which help us come together with such beautiful graphics, videos, and they edit all of the documents that the subcommittees and the zones put together to make all of these wonderful initiatives possible. So as soon as you become young adults, urging you guys all to take part in these activities. As you can see in front of you, all of these wonderful online events that many of you, I'm sure, have seen, the young adults have been integral members of these online events. All of the Akhanda Bhajan that we've had for Shivratri and near Swami's birthday in November, the young adults have had the opportunity to do the opening and the closing sessions of these bhajans. And so through the power and passion of the YAs, so many people have come together in Swami's name and glory.
Thank you, Brother Rishi, for sharing those activities with us and the subcommittees. And lastly, just to close off today, we just want to share with you how you can get in touch with us. If you want to become part of the International Sai Young Adults Program, you can visit our landing page on www.satyasai.org/YA, or you can contact YA coordinator at satyasai.org. We also have, and Brother Sain mentioned, the mental health program that is being facilitated in Canada. We also have it internationally with the Young Adult Wellbeing Support Group. And we have a webpage, a healthy living webpage that you can visit for more advice on various topics. And you can visit www.satyasai.org for more information on that. We're really excited and really happy to be here with our Canadian family this evening. Well, it's evening for me in South Africa. But thank you for having us and wishing each and every one of you all the best in your journey. And we look forward to seeing you in the Sai Young Adults program.
Thank you, Brother Sayan, Rishi, and Sister Bahani for your presentation. It was really informative, and I learned so much myself. I'm a YA. I did not know that we had all these subcommittees, so I've learned a lot from your presentation. I'm sure everyone else here has as well. Thank you so much. And again, everyone, if you can please make sure your video is on, that'd be super helpful, just so you can stay engaged. But at this time, I would like to ask Sister Daniela to please come back. We're going to be playing one more game of Kahoot. And again, this is the last game of Kahoot, and we'll be ending with a vote of thanks. I do apologize. I know we've gone a little bit over time, but we will be done shortly. So please make sure to stay engaged and stay involved. And I'll pass it over to Sister Daniela.
Sairam, everyone. Thank you to the young adults for that fabulous presentation. In fact, all the presentations have been so wonderful today. So I really hope that you've had fun and been inspired as well. Please join me in this Kahoot, our final short Kahoot. Thank you, Devi, Anjali, Surya, Krish. I put the information in the chat. It's www.kahoot.it, and the pin is 3899672. The information is in the chat. Let's go for our final Kahoot of the day. I'll give you another minute to join, or half a minute. I know we're over time. And if you can't join right now, please do try. The information will be at the bottom if your internet is unstable at all. So there are 4 questions. Let's see how well you learned these 4 questions. That was a fascinating presentation, and I also didn't know about all the subcommittees. So it's a lot of great things that we're learning about. Definitely so much hope for our world. Fabulous. We've got 33 players so far. And Tiusha, should we wait a couple of more seconds, or should I get started?
No, you should get started. People can always join in. Yeah.
All right. So let's go. This is, and let me see if you can. Okay. Can hear sound?
No.
No. Okay. So, well, let's start. How many international young adult subcommittees are there? Is it 10? Is it 11, 9, or 12? Yes, you're correct. The answer is 11. So let's go on to the next question. Very good. Number 2. So what is the social media handle for the International Young Adults platforms? Is it at Young Adults, at SSSIO Young Adults, at Sai Young Adults, or none of the above? Let's see. Very good. You're paying attention. At Sai Young Adults. Excellent. 17 people got it. Let's go to our 3rd question. The role of Sai youth in the world is to spread the message of unity, blank and blank. Is it purity and divinity, community and divinity, or community and purity? Fabulous. Purity and divinity. And they're doing a very good job of it too. And our last question of the day, who can you contact if you would like to get involved in young adults activities? Is it Center Young Adults Coordinator, Regional Young Adults Coordinator, National Young Adults Coordinator, or all of the above? Yes, you're right. All of the above. So in 3rd place, we have PP. Is that Sister Pratima? In 4th place, Shiva. Excellent, Shiva Balan. And in 1st place, we have Sairam. Fabulous job. A big round of applause to our runners-up as well, Aditi and A. So I'll pass it back to you, our wonderful MCs.
Thank you, Sister Daniela. At this time, I would now like to ask Auntie Isha to join us for the vote of thanks. Thank you all for your time. It was talking to all of you, and let's welcome Auntie Isha.
I think you're
Unmute.
unmuted, Auntie.
Yes. Thank you. I owe you $1. Can you hear me? Thank you. I want to thank Kishore and Anika for doing such a wonderful job. Adharam sarva bhaktanam sadhu chitta prasadakam jnana vijnana dataram sayam vande jagadgurum. He who is the ultimate support of all devotees, who showers grace on pious people and fills their heart with delight, who is the giver of self-realization as well as knowledge of material welfare. To that Sai, the spiritual teacher and guide of all mankind, I offer my loving and humble salutations, Swami, at your lotus divine feet. In his summer discourse delivered in 2002, Swami declares that the only true gift we can offer to God is gratitude. Swami also says that gratitude is our life breath and we should express our gratitude to anyone who helps us. So, where do I begin today? Everyone assembled here today is a spark of the same divinity, the Paramatman who came down to this earth in this beautiful form we call our Swami. So, my beloved Swami, you sowed this seed for this festival. You planned it and executed in the way you willed it to happen, including the Rogers outage drama yesterday, and gave all of us an opportunity to be part of this initiative, like the little squirrel in the Ramayana. On behalf of all your little helpers, my heartfelt gratitude to you, Swami. I am at a loss for words in expressing our gratitude to each and every one of you who worked diligently and with so much devotion to make this event happen. This is a great example of teamwork, and every one of us contributed in breathing life into this beautiful tapestry of the SSE festival that we all experienced today. Swami explains that real gratitude is to take bliss from God and share it with others. God is happy if we make everyone else happy. On that note, I thank our guest speakers, our dearest Shruti, Rushi, Vahini, who joined us from New Zealand, US, and South Africa, and our own fellow Canadians, Sister Janani and Brother Sayan, who shared the bliss they received from Swami and making all of us happy with their presence here today. Of course, they are no longer guests for Canada, they are part of us now. I have officially adopted them. We sincerely hope and pray that every one of you enjoyed the experience of coming together as one family and connecting with our Lord in a joyful celebration. On behalf of our National President, Brother Siva Nadaraja, Vice President, Sister Preeti Grover, and the National Education Team, Sister Bharya, Sister Ruby, and I, with all my humility, I offer my most sincere gratitude to all of you. Thank you, Mercy, Dhanyavad, Nandri, Mihi, and Danki. To my beloved SSC children, you have all been so patient. You all been listening. Thank you. The gratitude Bhagavan expects from us is our own happiness. So kiddos, always be cheerful and spread the happiness. As citizens of this home we call Mother Earth, you have inherited a planet that is struggling to breathe. So whatever career path you take and whatever decisions you make in your lives, big and small, always keep your focus on protecting Mother Nature, since there is no difference between God, nature, and man. This is the most dharmic action we should all collectively do so that your kids, grandkids, and great grandkids could also enjoy this beautiful home. Most importantly, please have that unwavering faith that Bhagavan is always with you and always guide you and guard you in the palm of his hand. all good things come to an end, and so is this amazing festival. We will now have Aarti followed by closing prayers. I wish you all a very happy, healthy, and fun filled summer, and of course, a beautiful winter for our sisters and brothers from Australia and New Zealand. Jai Sai Ram.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक हरि महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपति स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपति आशिक कल्पलगीता आशिक कल्पलगीता आपदानवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेव मरियन्तयुनीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयुनीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयन ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप जय श्री ओम साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंतु मंगल आरती अंतु मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति